Hello. I was almost late logging on. I had to shoo the dog out of the room. Ever since Lydia, our granddaughter, was here, we do FaceTimes with her most of the time on Sunday nights, and she loves Rascal, so she always wants to have us, hold the phone down so she can see Rascal, and the dogs get all excited when they hear her voice and love it when she calls. So I had to put him out because I was going to let him stay in here if he would behave, but he didn't behave. He was jumping up here trying to get after the phone. So that's the excitement in my life tonight. And it's raining again, but it's not raining like in some of the parts of the country, so I'm not really complaining. Hey, Kelly. Is it raining down there? The sun was out this afternoon. It was a beautiful afternoon, and then tonight we were in a Civic Association meeting, and the clouds just opened up, and it came down like crazy. Kind of over all that rain. Definitely over it. So, thanks for tuning in. It was really good to see you Sunday. Oh, you seem tired. I was tired. Sunday afternoons sometimes they're better for naps than activities, but we all have a lot going on. So, well, I'm gonna go ahead and had a good shower about 2, then it stopped. Well, good. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be on and off tomorrow and maybe Wednesday too, but it's supposed to kind of clear up. But anyway, that's enough about the weather. That's kind of boring, I guess. Hope everybody's having a good night. Hey, Melissa, thanks for hopping on. Hope you all are having a good night. Hope you had a good Monday. I wanted to just really quick give everybody a 1% lifestyle reboot update, and then just talk about a couple of other things, epiphany that I had today. It's not really an epiphany, but it just kind of set in. Hey, thank you for hopping on, Chiquita. And then just share a little bit about why it's so important for us to share our struggles and our triumphs. So anyway, most of you may know, I'm Mary Moss, live in Richmond, Virginia. I'm an author, a poet, Christian storyteller, speaker in my dream life. I'm an project administrator for a transportation project here in Richmond in my 9-to-5 life for the next couple of years anyway. I'm blessed that I get to do both things, and that I am able to enjoy both of those things. I've learned a lot every day in my day job, and that's always a good thing. So there's never a boring day there. But early January, I ended up in the hospital for 3 days, and I was pretty sick. Things were starting to turn south, and the doctor was really concerned, and Jim, my husband, was really concerned. Several of my friends were really concerned, and things were kind of scary there, and turned out great. Could have been really bad, scary, but it was a wake-up call, and it took me a while to kind of get back to myself and to really do a lot of praying and thinking and reading and studying and some more praying, and kind of figuring things out. And yeah, it was, Kelly. It was really scary. And so in the process, I kind of figured out that I need to apply a very basic principle that I learned in my social media coaching program a couple years ago. And it's a principle that I really embraced then. I really embraced in a lot of other areas of my life. And so I've embraced it now for this reboot, and it's the principle of 1%. That's the law of aggregate increase or whatever. But the theory is that if you do 1%, make a 1% improvement every day for a year, you'll be 37% better than you are today. And I think I was happy with that. I'm thinking, okay, that'll be great. So what I did is I did a lot of research, like I said, online. I got a copy of the Daniel Plan, which is a book by Rick Warren that he wrote in conjunction with several doctors. And I'd heard of it several years ago. I had a lot of friends, unbeknownst to me, a couple of my good friends, Andrea and a couple of other people, had read the book, had done it, maybe done it with their church. It's kind of intended to be like a church-wide thing or a group study thing. But I read up on it, and I really like Rick Warren. His book, The Purpose-Driven Life, really was life-changing for me as a Christian and as a person. And so I knew that I would like what he had to say. I like his style. I like his approach. And I knew that it would resonate with me. So I ordered the book after reading a lot of reviews and excerpts from it. And while I'm not going to, do the fasting and some of the other strict regimental things, I'm picking and choosing. I mainly got it because I wanted the scriptural support and the scriptural foundation, but it's also got a bunch of other great information, like some recipes and meal plans, kind of, not recipes, but like meal plans, but a lot of it is scripturally based. And one of the first things that I learned that has made a difference this time, I'm on day, I think, 20 of this 1% lifestyle reboot, whatever you want to call it. I've lost almost 9 pounds. And the huge change I've done is that I immediately cut out all refined sugar. And that was so tough. But I immediately, within 24 hours, started feeling better. And within 72 hours, aches and pains that I'd had for years were gone. Sluggishness was gone. I had more energy. I slept better. It was just like I had been pouring poison into my body, which obviously I had been, with no concern, no thought of what, or realization really, or awareness of what it had been doing to me. So I even remember saying to myself, if this is the only change I make, this is probably adding years to my life. And I mean, I was addicted to sugar like I used to be addicted to cigarettes, I mean, it was just everything. And so that was a huge thing. But I was so successful in this change that after I got over the physical craving, I didn't even want it. I don't even want, refined sugar now, like candy bars or cookies or cakes or anything. Even when at my son's birthday party, I didn't want, cupcakes and ice cream that we had. And it wasn't like, no, I can't have that. It was that I had no desire for it. It's like God took away my need to have that. And so what I learned through the Daniel Plan and kind of going into scripture was learning to live satisfied, physically satisfied with the food that I was eating, but to just be satisfied and to rest in that. And it's something that I've really struggled with in every area of my life. And that doesn't mean that you settle for less than. It means that you are satisfied for enough. And it's been a huge eye-opener for me. I also am cutting back on a lot of carbs. This week, I'm probably going to cut out all white foods, white potatoes, white flour. We eat, pretty healthy breads. But I'm an Irish girl. I love my white potatoes. So, I'm making that switch, eating a lot more salads, and watching the calorie count on the kits, which I love, and luckily it's summertime, so there's a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, which I love. Um, and dark chocolate is saving me. It's saving me. I'll have one or two squares, maybe, like half of, they say little 8 of the little tiny bars, and I'll have 4 of those. And it's saving me from not going after chips or other things because it's like, okay, I'm satisfied. Yeah, and it's learning to be satisfied with enough. Like today, um, I had to kind of leave a little bit earlier than I usually do. So I had a filling but not as big a breakfast as usual. Then we were in all day meetings and we had a working lunch. So I didn't eat until later and I didn't die of hunger and I ate less than what I normally would have eaten and I didn't die of hunger until I got home. And then we had to run out this evening to a meeting in the community, so I didn't eat as much as I usually do. And you know what? I'm not dying of hunger. So, Jim was saying maybe that's a good thing that it was kind of out of your control a little bit because, it's helping your body adjust. It's helping your body, to not need those in-between snacks. So, and I think he's right. I'm hoping that that will be the start of a pattern. So anyway, that's all about me. I'm gonna stick with it. Last week was rough. I'm not gonna lie. There were several days there. It was just rough. I was just plain fighting hard. I felt like I was under spiritual attack. Not just in the food area, but in a lot of other areas too. I was missing my granddaughter, missing my dad. There's just a lot going on. And so and also it hit me how long this is going to take. This is not going to be in 3 months, I'm going to be done. It's going to be a long time and it's going to be a lifestyle. And for a quick minute, that was kind of depressing. But then I realized the freedom that I'm creating for myself by not being owned and ruled by food. And so I started coming out of it once I realized that I'm proud of myself for staying strong, for staying with it, even when I was grouchy, even when I was sad. And it's kind of exciting to think that I'm going to have this life of freedom. Um, it's a great thing. It's a brand new experience for me. Never done that. So it's different than like a diet plan or, I'm not going on a diet. I am changing the way I view food, my relationship with food, but not only that, like with exercise, which I hate, but I'm starting to do a little bit more and more. But I'm being gentle with myself and giving myself permission to listen to my body and to my heart and to do what I think I need to do, what I feel like I should do. And so, it's different. And that's how it has to be. If it's going to be a lifestyle, that's how it has to be. I have to learn to listen to my body and kind of go with the flow. So that's that. And I'm going to go a little bit out of order of what I posted. The other thing, the third thing that I had listed was that why we need to share our struggles, as well as our triumphs. I've already had a couple people reach out to me and say thank you. I'm doing my own version of 1% changes in my life. And I'm so grateful that you told me about this. And that also is very gratifying because there is nothing I want more in this world than to help other people. And that made it almost worth it, more than the the improvements for me and the benefits for me was that my journey, it could potentially be helping someone else find their own way. And that's so important. That's so important. And a couple of other people have reached out and said, I'd really like to do this Daniel Plan thing with you. And so that's why, and no matter what our struggle is, you know, don't you feel like, oh, daggone it, my low power came on. Hold on a second. I may have to end up holding the phone the rest of the thing. Y'all bear with the shaky screen for a minute while I plug this thing in. Don't you feel better knowing you're not alone? You know, no matter what you're going through. For me, it helps me know that, you know, I've got somebody on the journey with me. You know, it's not quite so dark and lonely. Hey, Glenda, thanks for hopping on. But it also gives other people hope. Because, I mean, I've made it 20 days. And I didn't give up. And I didn't die. So hopefully somebody else on day 5 or day 8, when they start feeling like, oh man, I can't do this, hopefully they'll think, oh, Mary made it to 20, you know? And so maybe they'll keep going and they'll see if they can get to 20. And then by then I'll be ahead. And so, you know, we can start a chain reaction of helping other people. And whether it's sobriety, whether it's, you know, breaking bad habits of any kind, whether it's starting new habits that we need to have, you know, it helps other people. Yeah, it does. I may have to get that, Katie, because I think that is going to be a really useful tool, especially since my main interest, you know, was the scripture. Thank you for reminding me of that. I'll have to look for a copy. So anyway, so that's why we need to share. And I've seen so many of my friends recently, in particular, be really transparent, you know, about some really hard things. And I just think it's so important. I know the courage that it takes, but I know that it's so important because somebody needs to hear your message. And that's the whole thing of, you know, what our coach always says, you know, your message is a message for someone. And it is. And just like everything we're going through is not meant to happen, you know, in a vacuum. Not meant to happen in the dark. We need to shine light on it and share it with other people who might not have the support system or the coping mechanisms that you have. So that's my philosophy on that. And I mean, just speaking for myself, I've benefited from other people sharing their journey. Hey, Rebecca, thanks for hopping on. So the last thing, this was kind of an aha for me. It's something that I've kind of like known and that I've been told a lot, and I do know this. But it was kind of like things came together in a new way, because I was talking with a coworker today, and we were just kind of talking about some things, and we were talking about a certain situation and how you know, people's different styles, and how I hate to admit this, but I default to being offended really easily sometimes, depending on the mood I'm in. If someone says something and I think, oh, that was really inappropriate or that was really rude, and then I start making it about me, you know, well, they, A, must not like me, they, B, you know, think this about me, they, whatever. Instead of focusing on their issue, why they were that way, I immediately claim that and make it about me. And that's really unhealthy to do. And so I'm really, again, I'm proud of myself that I'm starting to say, oh, you know, catch myself for a quick minute and remember that everybody is going through things. Everybody is dealing with things. And the way someone addresses me, approaches me, responds to me is not about me or anything wrong with me or a shortfall in me. It's about them and what they're dealing with. And once that kind of just really sank in and hit home in a specific situation, I was able to own that too. That's right. You can't internalize or personalize it. But I think, I mean, I don't think I'm alone. I think a lot of us do that. We do. I never want anybody to be upset. And I take on responsibility for other people's emotions and feelings beyond empathy and genuine concern for them. And I do internalize it. And that also weighs you down, metaphorically. That's a lot to carry around. Yeah, I think, Melissa, I'm sure you do because you have such a big heart. And I think those of us that do have a big heart for others, we want to take that on, for ourselves. But I think also too, it may be partly a learned thing, through no fault of anybody's, but maybe different relationships that we've had, different people that we've known, and their issues, and sometimes it just gets to be a habit for us to take that on for ourselves. So we need to not do that. But that's right. If we're ever going to have a joyful life, if we're ever going to have a life of freedom, a life of satisfaction, we have to let go of that. We have to not own it. And it's important that we are aware of the people who trigger us. And you can't always remove yourself from relationships or situation. Right, you're taught to be people pleasers as early as 5 years old, and you can't unlearn that stuff very easily. So we need to be aware of the people that trigger that behavior in us, and as much as possible be on our guard when we're around them. If we can remove ourselves from that situation, if we can not be around them, that's the healthiest thing for us. They'll find somebody else to unload on. There are plenty of us out there. But most important, just be aware when we start finding ourselves, oh, well, why don't they think this? Or, why people a lot of times can't help the way they are. And they're not thinking about me. It's about them. Most of us respond out of our own, what we've learned, our own needs, our own desires. We think we're the center of the world. And we don't think about the things that we do and say, and how we do and say them might be impacting others. And maybe some of us are hyper aware of that, but most people aren't, unless that, all the time. And so that's important to remember. We need to be the light. We can't do that if people are always snuffing out our light, right? We need to keep that light burning. So that was my little epiphany. And like I said, I know that. I've been told it. I've learned it. I've told myself that. But I think there was a certain series of circumstances that happened. And I was relating it about this person to someone else, telling them this. And it was like, oh man, okay. It's all coming together now. It's all part of this new freedom that I'm experiencing. It's really kind of awesome. We have the right to protect our own happiness, whatever that looks like for us. And we should. It's our responsibility too. We have to take care of ourselves, right? So we can take care of other people. So anyway, thank you all for hopping on. Thank you for your support as I am on this journey. It really helps. I felt the support. I felt the prayers. I appreciate you all so much. And, if you have somebody that comes to mind that you think would benefit from hearing this, please let them know about this live. And I am going to end there. I'm going to log off. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a good night. I hope you have a good week. And I will talk to you all next week. I love you too, Katie. Thanks so much.